Hey guys, Erica here from Milestone Mom and welcome. I hope you're having a good day. So today I wanted to do something a little bit different and I really just wanted to chit chat with you. There have been a lot of things going on that I kind of wanted to talk to you about and talk to you about where Milestone Mom is going. And if you've been around here long enough, you know that I absolutely hate talking about myself. So we have so many new people in our community, which I am so grateful for, and I appreciate you all so much, that towards the end of this video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about my credentials, how Milestone Mom started. So I'll do that next, but first I kind of want to talk about where Milestone Mom is going, in case some of you don't want to stick around and listen about my credentials. So up until this point, if you've been watching me for a while, you have noticed, I'm sure, that a lot of my videos are scripted. And I will continue to do some scripted videos. And the reason I do that is because I have so much knowledge in my head from being an elementary education teacher to being a pediatric developmental therapist for over a decade. I have so much knowledge in my head that I'm scared if I don't script it, I'm going to forget something. Because there's been plenty of times like today where I'm just creating a video and I'm like, oh, why didn't I say that? Like that's so crucial for that video. So that's one of the reasons I do script my videos, which I feel like they don't look as authentic. But just know when I'm doing that, it's because I want to give you the most valuable information that I have in my head without forgetting anything. But I also want to do more of these sit down videos where we can just kind of chit chat. And earlier when I said so much is changing, when you're watching this video, it's actually 2023, almost 2024. So if you're watching this 10 years from now, this information might not be as up to date. But the times we're in right now, I am finding, and I would love to know. So I'm in Illinois, and our wait list for early intervention services, which is birth to 3, is quite lengthy. So I would like to know in the comments below, whatever state you're in, please let me know what it's like for ongoing services in the early intervention program. Are your kiddos getting right in? Are they waiting a couple months? Are they waiting 6 to 8 months? Is it a year? So when a child's referred to early intervention, the intake process is happening quickly and the evaluations are happening quickly. So if your child qualifies for services, that's usually when there is there is a wait nowadays. And I think that is because we have more and more kids coming into early intervention and we have less providers to take those kids. So that kind of, sorry, move my camera. That kind of makes me really step back and think about the future of Milestone Mom. It's one thing to come into your house every single day, every single week, and chit chat with you, sit down, you guys offer me drinks, we talk about your child, you ask me any questions that you have, I evaluate your child, I comfort you, I laugh with you, I cry with you. Like that's one thing, to be able to sit down and do that. And that's why I do what I do, is because of you. It really is. It's because of you and your child. It's another thing to sit behind the screen, not looking at you, knowing you're there and that you're one of my friends, right? That I would connect with if we were sitting face to face, but I'm talking into a camera. So it's a little bit different than sitting down and talking in your house. So with all of that said, I am more determined than ever this year to create the Milestone Mom Academy, a community where parents can come and have access to me on a daily basis and ask their questions. I already have a handful of people on the waiting list. If you would like a link to that, it's going to be in the description below or in the show notes if you're listening on a podcast. So it's one thing to be behind the camera, and it's another thing to take all of my knowledge that I have in my head and to put it into a workshop, a challenge, a course. Currently, I'm actually working, it's December, okay, Christmas is coming. I'm currently working on a play milestone workshop, and the very best toys recommended by therapists. So there are several toys that we kind of rotate through in our practices, and some of us all have the same toys because there's some really great toys per age level. And there's actually play milestones. So there's certain reasons why you buy these toys for certain age groups. And I'm creating a workshop on that. That's great. I can get my knowledge out, and I'm finally finding a platform that I can put it on. But it's a challenge, right? All the stuff that goes into it, even the YouTube videos that I'm creating for you now, was just like a leap of faith. So now I have all these workshops and courses and all these ideas, maybe even some group coaching or one-on-one. Now, I will tell you that I will never, ever, ever replace the one-on-one that you need if your child qualifies for early intervention. I will never replace that. What I would do is come alongside and kind of meet your child where they're at and you where you're at with some coaching or some strategies to help to get us through until they can get services. So I don't know what that looks like yet, which is kind of where you come in. I would like to know in the comments what you need from me. So this is kind of where I'm going to go now with my credentials very quickly. I am a pediatric developmental therapist, and I have worked in the early intervention program for 10 years, well, a little over 10 years at this point. So that means that I work with kids birth to 3. So people in my sphere right now in our community are a lot of new moms. Just having babies, just curious about development, Googling like crazy on the internet. Then I have moms in our community that their spidey senses are going off, okay? They just don't think something is right, but they also second guess themselves and think they're crazy for thinking it. Or they have a spouse that says, honey, our child's fine, they'll outgrow it, or I'm sure it's fine, I'm sure it's typical. Or they go into a pediatrician and the pediatrician's like, well, let's wait 6 months. So I have you mamas in here too, who your very strong spidey senses are going off. And can I just tell you, you need to listen to those. To get an evaluation done in early intervention, at least in Illinois, I can't imagine it's different in different states, it's free. The evaluation is free. So we come in and assess your child using our standardized tests to see if your child even qualifies for services. And they have to have a 30% delay or greater to even qualify. So I'm kind of going off on a tangent. But so those two types of moms. And then the other one is a mom whose child has already been diagnosed with something, whether it be a medical diagnosis, which causes some atypical milestones or delays, or maybe you're a mom where your child went through the evaluations and you found out that your child does have a speech delay or torticollis or something like that. And then I'm finding, and this is the first year of doing this for a while, I am finding those moms who, which kind of piggybacks off the third one, whose child did qualify for early intervention. But they're being told that the wait list is like 8 months to even get services for their child. So those are the type of people those are the type of moms that are in my sphere that I so greatly want to serve. So as a pediatric developmental therapist, I go into homes daily and weekly talking to moms. And it was very important for me as a therapist to bring it online so I could, I guess, have a bigger audience, right? Of parents that of moms that are searching for this kind of stuff. And I know what it's like to Google search, you get different answers and conflicting advice. And my goal for Milestone Mom, if you look at my website, it's to go from, let me look that up for you just really quick, because this is the basis of Milestone Mom. You can always go to milestonemom.com too to see what I have, especially once I start creating all the courses and stuff like that. Like, you're going to want to be there for sure. Sorry, I keep hitting my camera. So this is my goal right here. I'm here to help you go from feeling worried, hopeless, and anxious about your child's development to feeling confident, empowered, and knowledgeable. And that is exactly what I want to do this year. I have so many ideas because of my credential, but I need you to help me figure out what it is exactly that you need so I can put it into place. So developmental therapist for over 10 years. 5 of those years, I actually worked as a service coordinator. And if your child has been through the early intervention program, you know exactly what that is. I was the one that went in, did the intake with the family, was part of the evaluation, set the services up, kind of made sure all the balls were rolling at one time. Going to meetings meeting with the school district when your child transferred from early intervention to the early childhood program. And where I live, I couldn't service both. So when I was a service coordinator, I could not be a developmental therapist, but I did keep my credential. So I've been back into developmental therapy probably the last 5 years. And even before that, so in EI over 10 years, before that I had, and I still hold my elementary education license for teaching. So I am a certified teacher with a endorsement in special education. So I could officially go into a school district and teach if I wanted to. But I love where I'm at. And this whole technology thing, YouTube videos, taking everything I have in my mind and putting it into a course for you or a workshop is my goal for this year. Right now I have an amazing coach that I'm working with who kind of helps me. She says, give me all of your ideas, and we're going to put it into certain places, kind of figure out what that is. And then I have an amazing virtual assistant team on my team and they are amazing. So everything that goes into it, I'm not going to get into that, but I definitely, it's one thing to want to do all this stuff. It's another thing to make it happen. So I'm making it happen this year. And I'm so grateful that you're coming along with me, because one of the reasons I got into this online space is because when I'm in your homes, I try not to cry. I see the heartbreak. I see the heartbreak. I hear the heartbreak. I feel it. I see the tears. You know, I have to be careful as a therapist going into a family's home. I would say the majority of my referrals are speech delays, and they're often called basic speech delays. And I have to remember that it's not a basic speech delay to you. Well, as a mom, like the biggest thing that we want is to be able to protect our kids no matter what, right? When they're little, it's easier. You know, they skin their knee, you kiss their boo-boo, give them a hug, and they're on their way, right? But when it comes to child development and atypical development, first of all, being in that place of wondering if your child is developing typically is hard enough, because you do all these Google searches and you get conflicting information. I mean, if you look up how many words should a 24-month-old be saying, I mean, you can get anywhere between 50 to 350 words. So I want to be that foundation for you, really. I want to teach you about child development and child milestones, because when you know what child milestones are and what they're supposed to be hitting at each age, you'll be able to then pinpoint things that are somewhat atypical, or some things just to kind of look out for. So that's my goal. So I went into a family's home, and I know I get sidetracked. See, this is why I script. I went into a family's home. This was probably a year ago, but this really stands out to me. Very educated family. I believe mom was some sort of therapist. Dad worked at a large company. I think in their mind that their child didn't have a delay. So we went through the evaluations. I was actually a service coordinator at this time. So this was probably 5 years ago. I was a service coordinator. So the therapist did their evaluations, and the service coordinator stays after the meeting and does paperwork with the families. Now it's a little bit different. A lot of service coordinators aren't going in homes. They're kind of doing things online with DocuSign and all of that stuff. But I remember sitting down at the table, and I always asked the families when I was a service coordinator, are you okay with everything? And this mom just broke down. And her child did have a speech delay. It was a very minimal delay. From what I remember, it was like 35%, 38%. It wasn't significant, but she did qualify for weekly services. And this mom just broke down. And in that moment, I remember thinking to myself, like, I need to stop thinking about these speech delays as just basic speech delays, because these are huge for these moms. And so we talked. I was there for quite a while. It was my last evaluation of the day. And I think I was there like 2 hours just talking and consoling the mom and talking about different things. And I had another kiddo. I was in the family's home. I was actually working as a therapist before I started as a service coordinator. So this had to have been like 8 years ago. I was sitting there on the floor, and I was playing with the child, and the mom was sitting on the floor with me as well. And she got a call from the doctor. The child we knew he had some sort of syndrome. We just didn't know what. And he had went through significant genetic testing. And I will never forget, she got the call when I was there that day. And he had a terminal syndrome, and his life expectancy wasn't past 10 years old. So, sorry. And I could go on, but I don't want to. Because Milestone Mom's not a sad place to be. It's not. I'm here for you. Gosh, I'm here for you. But just, I want you to know that I know the struggle. I do. And that's why Milestone Mom was created. It was created for you. I see you. I hear you. I understand what it's like when you think something's wrong with your child and you have family members or even a husband saying they're fine. Okay, last story, I guess. Child was 2.5, and I went into the home. And it came through the referral that dad was not on board, but mom was 100%. And we evaluated this child, and he did have a speech delay, and we recommended 1 time a week services. And you could tell just the way the dad was questioning us, and which I appreciate. Like, ask us those questions, right? That's what we're there for. So we appreciate it, and we told him we appreciate every single question you're asking us, and we answered him truthfully. And they, at the end of the evaluation, they had asked if they could have some time to think about it, and whatever their discussion was, they decided not to proceed with early intervention. A lot of dad's questioning for us was, he's 2.5, in like 6 months, a year. Like, I'm sure I've heard of kids that just start talking in sentences. That is true. There are kids that start talking in sentences. But my thinking is, why play Russian roulette? Like, why wait 6 months or a year when you can get services in there? And what early intervention is, if your child qualifies for 1 time a week services, like, sure, we go in for 60 minutes 1 time a week to work with your child, but it's more about educating you as the parent on what to do during those days until the therapist comes back. So it's your homework. And believe me, we can tell those parents that work with their children and the ones that don't. So 60 minutes 1 time a week is beneficial for your child, but that's not what's going to do it. What's going to do it is going to be educating you, the parent, to work with your child. And that's what Milestone Mom is. That is why I feel so strongly about Milestone Mom. And this video is a lot longer than I thought. But I just kind of wanted to let you know where I'm at. I've never actually jumped on here and was just open and honest with you. But it's time, because it's really time to know, I'm creating things like courses and workshops based on what I think you want. And most of it's based on being in homes and talking to these moms and things they're struggling with. And so I'm sure it's going to be beneficial to you. But if you're listening right now, please take a moment, go to the comment section if you're on YouTube, or somewhere like in the comment section if you're listening on podcast, and please let me know if your child is birth to 3, because that is what I'm focusing on right now. Maybe in the future, since I have an elementary education degree, I'll take it further, preschool stuff, which would be a really great segue from toddler to preschool. But right now I'm focusing on birth to 3 because that is my expertise and what I do right now. Take that time to comment and let me know what you need from me, because I want to give you what it is you need. If it's a place that you can ask me questions every day, that's what the Milestone Mom Academy is going to be. If you want to see a workshop on utensil use, I just did a video on utensil use. Let me know. That's what I'm here for. And I want to give you what you need, okay? Instead of searching the internet tirelessly. So, all right, guys, I was trying not to cry through that whole thing, but I get it. I live it with you every day. So I just want you to know that I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being in our community. If you want emails from me to keep up to date when I am creating new courses, when they're launching, or workshops or challenges or whatever, in the description below or in the show notes, I do have a free developmental checklist for you, birth to 36 months, of course. And also the link to the Milestone Mom Academy would be there, or will be there. Right now, you might see a wait list. I have a handful of people ready to rock and roll. If you're watching this later, once it launches, it'll just say Milestone Mom Academy. So make sure you get on my email list and you'll be the first to know of what is coming up. All right. I love you. Bye.